we're here to mark an exciting milestone in this first in-the-nation collaboration, involving the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, OpenAI, and Carnegie Mellon. This collaboration was born out of Governor Shapiro's vision to effectively and responsibly leverage generative AI for the benefits of the citizens of this state. Governor's vision recognized the profound urgency of this moment. It also embraced the accelerating pace of innovation that is profoundly reshaping our society today. It's no exaggeration to say that AI has emerged as the single most important intellectual development of our time, and that the advances in Gen AI and other related technologies have amplified the potential impact on our economy and our global society. Just consider for a moment that AI is rapidly transforming nearly every sector of our economy, from transportation, manufacturing, to energy, healthcare, agriculture, and much more. It also, of course, not a surprise that extends to government, where AI has the potential to make our government more agile, more effective, and more responsive. The collaboration that you're going to hear about today began by seeking to answer a very simple question, and the question is, how can the government leverage the full potential of AI? That's it. And I have to tell you, on a personal note, as a computer scientist, it is so wonderful, Governor, to see that Pennsylvania is leading this charge. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce the 48th Governor of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Governor Shapiro has been a passionate advocate for economic development, for job creation, and making government more effective and more responsive for everyone. He has always recognized that Commonwealth's greatest resources are its people and their relentless pursuit of an even brighter future. Working closely with the governor over the past few years and with his team, I can tell you that his commitment to innovation is as inspiring as it is unrelenting. He is determined to carve out a distinctive leadership role for Pennsylvania as the frontier for innovation and a beacon of opportunity for all. At this time, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our own governor, Governor Shapiro.
Well, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Well, President Johnny, and it is great to be with you and the team here at CMU. Wherever you go in Pennsylvania or indeed across this great country, it is CMU's name that is often on people's minds and on their lips when they talk about the kind of innovation that we're seeing in AI and in robotics and technology. And I am damn proud that CMU is here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and leading the way. And I know the other elected leaders who are here share that. I know when Congressman DeLuzio is in Washington, D.C., I'm sure you're bragging about CMU, and you hear that from folks. We're joined, of course, by our local leaders, Sarah Namarato and Ed Gainey, partners of mine in the economic development of this great city and county, where CMU is such a driving force for that, together with our developers and others who are trying to make this a hub of activity when it comes to AI. And of course, my partner in Harrisburg, Representative Dan Frank, who represents this community, everybody working together, everybody working with common purpose to make sure that CMU is such a leader in this space. And so we're really glad to be here. I also want to acknowledge some others who are here that you will hear from. It's important when you're having a conversation about AI, when you're having a conversation about the future of work, that workers be represented in that. And I'm grateful that Steve Cantonese, one of the great labor leaders of Pennsylvania from SEIU 668, is here. You'll hear his perspective in a little bit. He's done a great job working with us on this. The leader of my team, Harrison McCray, and together with Kayleen Wance, they've done a wonderful job on this. And of course, Secretary Neil Weaver, who leads the Office of Administration, has made sure that as we use these tools, developed in part here at Carnegie Mellon University, it's done in a way that is respectful of our workforce. And I'm grateful to you, Secretary Weaver, and to our CIO, Amaya Capian, who is here with us as well and does terrific work. Joe Lee, my Deputy Chief of Staff, who sort of shepherded this through the process. Thank you very much, Joe, for your great work. And you will, of course, hear from Chris Lehane from OpenAI, who have been our partners in progress here. And I'm excited for you to hear about how government is working together with OpenAI to be able to deliver better for our constituents in Pennsylvania. I really do love it here at CMU, and I feel very at home, Mr. President. I'm grateful for the chance to be here. And I'm grateful when I get the chance to interact with your students. Every student here has a big brain, way bigger than my brain. Y'all are seeing things way into the future and figuring out a way to make them relevant to us in present day, ways to make things more effective and efficient. And it is why I chose Carnegie Mellon University a year and a half ago to sign an executive order to announce how we would govern the use of generative artificial intelligence here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I wanted CMU to be the backdrop for that, and I'm proud that it was. That executive order I signed here on campus recognized that as public servants, we have a duty to take advantage of the opportunities that this new emerging technology presents in order to better serve others in our communities. And at the same time, we understand we have a responsibility to be clear-eyed about the potential pitfalls that these tools pose and to remain thoughtful and strategic about how we implement them. Gen AI is one of the most significant technological developments of our time. It will likely lead to a new era, just as the agricultural revolution and industrial revolution did in this country over the last century or so. It is, of course, evolving far more rapidly than any other technology in the past 2 decades, and it holds great promise as long as we are clear-eyed in our purpose. As a government, I believe we cannot fall behind. To best serve our fellow Pennsylvanians, we must evolve with it. There are too many public officials who think they can stick their head in the sand and ignore this, try and ban emerging technologies. I believe we need to embrace them, and we need to use it for the betterment of society and the betterment of the people we served. You know, that executive order I signed here on CMU's campus ensured that our Commonwealth's approach to Gen AI would be done proactively, responsibly, and ethically so that we can maintain the highest standards for our employees and for the people of Pennsylvania while using these Gen AI tools to move faster and improve services that we offer to Pennsylvanians. And we recognize the need to partner with the private sector and with academia to make sure that we get the best possible results. Building a government that moves at the speed of business has been a top priority for my administration. And it's been our Commonwealth's employees driving that work to cut wait times, speed up services, eliminate backlogs, and of course, as we say every day, get stuff done. As a result of their work, the employees of the Commonwealth, we've cataloged all 2,400 licenses, permits, applications that Pennsylvania issues. And we did that and set deadlines on each and every one of them for the first time ever. We launched something called the Pennsylvania Payback System under the leadership of Brie Pardoe and our team at Code PA. That's an online money-back guarantee if we fail to deliver to you your permit on time. We cut the time it takes to receive a permit in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The most common permit anyone needs is a business license. The day I was sworn in, it took 8 weeks to get that business license. Today, it takes just 2 days. We're moving at the speed of business. We're eliminating the permit backlogs over at the Department of Environmental Protection, which often slows processes down for getting big things built. We eliminated 80% of that backlog, and we're moving faster than ever. When someone loses a job and they contact the Unemployment Compensation Office, it used to take them over an hour just to get someone on the phone. Now they're getting their issue resolved in less than 15 minutes. I'm really proud of the work that our Commonwealth employees are doing to ensure that we can be more efficient and more effective and move at the speed of business. They're delivering results every single day. And they, our Commonwealth employees, 80,000 people strong, they deserve the best possible tools in their hands to be able to get more stuff done. That's why, using the framework that I set up in my executive order, signed right here at CMU, my administration set out to explore how we could take advantage of Gen AI and effectively, safely, and responsibly incorporate it into the work that we do. We became the first state in the nation to partner with OpenAI to launch the first in the nation pilot program to put generative AI licenses in the hands of Commonwealth employees. In total, 175 Commonwealth employees from 14 different agencies had the chance to use ChatGPT in service to their fellow Pennsylvanians. I am so grateful to Sam Altman, Chris Lehane, and the entire leadership at OpenAI for working with us in common purpose to understand the needs of our Commonwealth and help us have the tools in our hands to deliver for Pennsylvanians. We were able to provide those holding those 175 Commonwealth employees with training, with face-to-face support, and then we asked them to tell us about their experience and what worked and, candidly, what didn't work as part of this. And now, a year later, I wanted to come back to Carnegie Mellon University to share the findings of what our employees told us over the course of the last year. Commonwealth employees overwhelmingly found generative AI useful in their work, despite the fact that 48% of those 175 employees never ever used ChatGPT before this pilot. 85% of them reported to us that they had a positive experience using AI. Interestingly, I found this to be very compelling. We heard the same feedback from workers from across all different ages, all different backgrounds, and all different types of roles of Commonwealth service, from our lawyers who had ChatGPT in their hands to our construction project managers who were using these OpenAI tools. On top of that, and this is fascinating, AI tools saved employees about 95 minutes every single day. 95 extra minutes they had to go handle the more complex cases, maybe spend more time on the phone or in person helping a fellow Pennsylvanian with their specific needs. That's nearly 8 hours a week that they got back, 30 hours a month that they got back. I wasn't very good at math, Mr. President, but those numbers are big numbers. It's a big deal. And it's important to note that I think this is only the beginning of what is possible. Commonwealth employees got more stuff done because they used this important tool from OpenAI. But to be clear, we also found that AI isn't the right tool for every single job. And its success depends on keeping a human in the loop, meaning the tools in people's hands are helpful, but they can't do it alone. We've got to have that human in the loop. It actually worked best on the kinds of tasks that helped enhance employees' efficiencies. You're going to hear more from Kayleen about her experience, about how AI helped her simplify complicated legal and policy documents and converting those into easy-to-understand training materials for Commonwealth employees. Think about that. She took all of that complex, and I'm a lawyer saying this, all that legal stuff, and turned it into language that people could understand, helping Commonwealth employees get trained up. It also helped our Commonwealth employees simplify job descriptions, which helped us speed up hiring times, thanks to Secretary Weaver and his team, and reducing the amount of time it took to onboard someone from 90 days down to 60 days. And by the way, I'm hungry for more progress, but I know we can make it if we continue to give our employees these tools. Think about this. It helped our IT team take 93 different complicated policies that government had in place and consolidate that down to just 34 different policies, all while making sure we are protecting people's data and information and protecting what is most essential. At the same time, while generative AI is a powerful tool, it is not a replacement for the employee's experience and expertise. And that is critically important, and that is something I think we suspected going into this, but we certainly learned from listening to our employees. We found that human nuance and experience is essential to getting the most out of AI. And we confirmed that this tool is a job enhancer, not a job replacer. And we believe that is critically important to remember as we go forward. We learned a lot from this pilot. And as the first state in the nation to complete this type of pilot program, I think we can be a real model for other states as well. Based on our success, I am here today to announce phase 2 and our next steps that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will take to expand access to AI tools for our employees with the support of our employees, our unions, the tech community, and academia. As this pilot ends on May 31st, beginning on June 1st, we will involve more employees and give them more generative AI tools to get more stuff done for the good people of Pennsylvania. We will expand based on these valuable lessons that we learned here, and as we embrace these new technologies, we will continue to put our employees and the people of Pennsylvania first. As part of our next steps on AI, I signed a letter outlining my administration's commitment to our employees, including those represented by SEIU and other labor unions who do a great job representing their employees. We're going to continue to support and empower the nearly 80,000 public servants who I consider to be my colleagues in making progress here for Pennsylvania, and make sure that we further integrate AI tools into their day-to-day work. And we'll continue to seek their feedback and value their expertise and their experience, because it's only through that thorough engagement that will ultimately deliver the best results. You know, when I signed that executive order here a year and a half ago, I was very clear that I laid out some clear principles and guidelines, including respecting privacy, ensuring safety and security, promoting fairness, increasing accuracy, and empowering our employees. As we move forward into phase 2, we will continue to stick to those principles. I'm excited about the opportunities that generative AI has in our efforts to serve the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's shown that it is a big difference maker in our work. And if you look at the pilot report, I think our employees feel the same way. You know, the congressman understands this because he lives it every day. At the federal level, some there want to berate and belittle public servants. That's not okay. I want you to know here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we respect public service, and we respect those who have made a decision in their lives to serve others, to help their fellow Pennsylvanians. And rather than eliminating their jobs haphazardly, we are methodically working with them to help them be more effective and efficient stewards of taxpayer money and to more quickly meet the needs of our fellow Pennsylvanians with these generative AI tools. We are showing that this is the model, not what we are seeing in other parts of the federal government. Pennsylvania is leading the way when it comes to AI, and we are doing it by centering it around our employees. We're committed to our employees, we are committed to increasing productivity, and we are committed to getting stuff done for the good people of Pennsylvania. The person who helped lead this effort for us from start to finish is a gentleman named Harrison McCrae, the Director of Emerging Technologies in the Office of Administration. He has done an outstanding job on this pilot, and he will be there for phase 2 of this effort. And it is my pleasure to welcome Harrison to the stage right now. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Over the past year, I have worked in collaboration with the Commonwealth's Generative AI Governing Board, the Commonwealth Office of Digital Experience, Code PA, and our employee volunteers to understand how they can best use generative AI technology in their work serving the public. What brought me into government was being passionate about empowering people with technology to help best serve their communities and the public. This idea has been at the core of this pilot. In Pennsylvania, we are not just focused on what AI can offer, but understanding when and where AI can be the most appropriate tool to help us solve the challenges we are already facing. Throughout the pilot, I talked to our pilot participants about their experiences using generative AI. These employees were consistently passionate about their public service work, but often felt they needed an extra set of hands or additional expertise to be as successful as possible. For many of our pilot participants, ChatGPT was the additional support they had been looking for. Instances like an IT project manager who quickly generated solutions to complex software upgrades, saving days of troubleshooting time. A policy analyst who condensed hundreds of pages of policy into digestible summaries, freeing time to focus on nuanced related to their area of expertise. A developer who used ChatGPT as a debugging partner, rapidly identifying errors and generating cleaner, more efficient code. Just in recent weeks, the governor announced an initiative to help align federal positions with Commonwealth job openings, creating a more clear pathway for recently unemployed federal employees to fill critical openings in Pennsylvania. We were able to deploy ChatGPT to the Commonwealth team assisting in this work to help them much more quickly analyze and match these openings. There are countless examples like these from our employees who showed how these tools enhance their ability to serve Pennsylvania. The value to them was evident. On average, employees reported saving 95 minutes per day when using ChatGPT, all while enjoying the experience of using this new technology, with 85% of employees having a positive experience. The Commonwealth is better equipped to navigate responsible use of AI after this pilot, and I am committed to continuing to engage with our workforce in a human-centered way as this technology evolves. AI systems will continue to advance, and by continuing to learn, adapt, and engage employees at every step, we will ensure that generative AI is leveraged safely and responsibly to better serve Pennsylvania. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce the president of Service Employees International Union Local 668. Please welcome Steve Catanese.
Hi, afternoon, morning. Good morning, everybody. My name's Steve Catanese. I'm the president of SEIU Local 668. We represent workers across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, about 20 strong, every county, 1,700 here in Allegheny, I think, and about 1,000 that work for our county executive here, Sarah DeMurato. Happy to see you, Representative DeLuzio, Mayor Gainey, Representative Frankel, our friends from the Allegheny delegation, so many representatives who work really hard for working people out here right now. Unfortunately, we seem to have a lack of that leadership in Washington, D.C. right now and in the federal government. And I'm happy to actually be here today, though, to talk about good leadership. We appreciate the governor's leadership on this issue in ensuring that workers have a voice at the table when it comes to innovation and new technology, and his efforts to ensure that workers have a seat at the table. Generative AI is a powerful tool, and it should be seen as exactly that, a tool. It's a powerful technology with incredible possibilities, but it has risks as well. It's important that AI is used in a way that is ethical and with a human hand at the wheel to ensure that risks are mitigated. It's also incredibly important that workers have a voice as this experiment in generative AI proceeds to ensure that these tools are utilized in a strategic way that respects and protects the public. As the pilot data shows, workers are interested in the positive opportunities that generative AI presents, but they still have concerns as well. They have concerns about their privacy, they have concerns about their future, and they want to be included in this process. Moving forward, union workers will have an opportunity to have a voice in what this future looks like with generative AI. Like any tool, again, it should have a skilled hand that wields it, and the more powerful the tool, the more skillful hand it must be to wield it. Just because we developed nail guns doesn't mean we got rid of building trades jobs, right? And it doesn't mean we didn't train folks in construction to make sure they could do a hell of a job. And the same thing needs to apply here with generative AI. Generative AI should not be seen as a race to the bottom as well. Work should be enhanced by these tools, not degraded. As generative AI becomes more prevalent in future jobs, good wages, job security, and the opportunity to join a union should not be negotiable throughout this process. These things need to coexist. Along with these principles today the governor announced, he also entered into an agreement with us that will provide forward-thinking protections to public employees and the citizens of Pennsylvania that ensure no matter how sophisticated technology becomes, at the end of the day, the public will be able to connect with a skilled, trained Pennsylvania worker to help guide them through their times of need and ensure generative AI works in their best interest, free of bias and discrimination. And I want to really touch on that again for a second, because to my knowledge, I think the agreement the governor's entering in with us is the best that we have in the country right now for public workers. And not just that, there's a lot of states that don't have quite the divided legislature that we have in Pennsylvania. It's really important that we have elected leaders like Governor Shapiro step up and take actions like these to protect workers where leadership is needed in this moment. Throughout history, we've seen the adoption of new technology displace workers and upend entire communities. Unions have been at the forefront of centering the economic needs of workers, ensuring that workers are upskilled, that employers are creating new jobs for workers, and that adverse effects are minimal with the implementation of new technologies. And with employers like the governor who are committed to working and centering workers in our changing economy, workers can be assured that they have a hand in shaping the evolution of generative AI tools. While I'm up here also, I just like to give a shout out to Joseph Lee from the governor's office who worked really hard with this, and Tracy in the Office of Administration who, for those of you who are public officials who have dealt with the unions to some degree, we are a pain in the butt, and I was a pain in the butt, and that's the job, but I appreciate your patience in working with us, and for Harrison as well, who spent some time on this as well. Next, I'm proud to be able to introduce Kaylee Wantz, who participated in the pilot, but what I'm gonna ask you to do is, Kaylee is one of those workers behind the scenes that doesn't get recognized every day and busts her butt to make sure Pennsylvania works. And could you give her a really loud round of applause, because she actually deserves it. Thank you, Kaylee.
We try. Thank you, Chris. That was nicer than I would have said about myself. So my name is Kayleen Wantz, and I work for the Commonwealth as a HR professional in web-based training development. My job is to create engaging, effective digital training courses that resonates with our workforce of 80,000 employees under the governor's jurisdiction. I, along with the rest of the e-learning team, were part of the first cohort to join the generative AI pilot. When I first joined the pilot, I'll admit, I was skeptical. I wasn't really sure how AI could really help, but I was really willing to give it a try. The first real challenge I ran into was prompting. I learned quickly that if you really don't give it good instructions, you don't get good feedback or anything good back. So I took the initiative to attend free AI prompt trainings and workshops available through the pilot to build my skills. Once I got better at crafting prompts, my results improved dramatically, which opened up the door to exploring additional ways to use Gen AI. Throughout the pilot, I built 3 custom versions of ChatGPT to perform specialized work to support our e-learning team. The most successful, Governor Field did mention, was a tool that translates policy and legal language into plain language so it's easy to understand. This one tool alone saved us countless hours to make a huge difference in helping employees learn. On the days when I have to work with that ChatGPT can help me, I estimate to save around 2 hours time. And of course, Gen AI isn't perfect. It does take trial and error. What I've really taken away from this pilot is how AI can handle those time-consuming tasks and more quickly, freeing me up to focus on more complex work, which is where I can make the biggest difference. Whether it's drafting feedback for training scenarios, restructuring content, outlining courses, naming fictional employees, brainstorming interactions, or simplifying policies, generative AI has become a powerful tool in my daily workflow, and it saves me time and helps me focus on those more complex tasks. But this experience also reinforced something important, and we've mentioned it a couple times, that AI is just a tool to enhance our creativity and efficiency, but it can't replace human expertise. It can't replace my personal instincts, which are honed by years of on-the-job experience that I've acquired to be effective in my job. It's also not the right tool for every task. I'm really grateful to be part of this opportunity and participate in the pilot with Harrison and his group and contribute to the Commonwealth's understanding of how AI can be leveraged for our workforce and to get more done for the people of Pennsylvania. Thank you. Up next is Chris Lehane, Chief of Global Affairs Officer for OpenAI.
Thank you. Good morning. What a crowd. This is awesome to see. When I'm based in San Francisco, but we sort of feel like we're just naturally at home here when we're in Pittsburgh and really Pennsylvania. It seems like every other researcher and engineer at OpenAI comes from CMU. I'm really excited in the crowd today. We have 3 folks who will be joining us, graduates this year, who will be joining us in San Francisco in a couple months, and I think 3 others who are going to be engineering interns over the course of the summer. So let's give them a shout out. This is awesome, isn't it? And then I think of Pennsylvania. You look at our stats in Pennsylvania, we have over 1 million folks who are using chat on a regular daily basis. We're here from the Commonwealth. And then there's about 8,600 developers, people who are in effect building small businesses and new businesses off of the chat platform who are based here in Pennsylvania. And as we think about the future, about a third of those folks who use OpenAI's tools in Pennsylvania are folks who are young, under the age of 24, thinking about where the world is going. I want to just shout outs to everyone who spoke up here earlier. Kayleen, awesome to see how you're putting those tools in your hand to help you. Steve, couldn't agree with you more. These are ultimately tools to help humans, right? These are tools to help scale human capabilities, but they do have to be in people's hands. I will say this, I am the grandson of folks who came into this country, were able to live the American dream, and they did it in large part because they're a member of a labor union. So thank you for your leadership. Harrison, you're an example of one of those public employees who day in and day out get up. Not everyone in Pennsylvania may know your name, although maybe after today they will. But your work actually is impacting people all over the state, making their lives better. Again, the force multiplier of what you're doing. There's a lot of presidents in this room today, I've noticed. This place is, what you have here is really, really special. When we think about AI, we often talk about infrastructure as destiny. And what that really gets to is this idea that you have to have the raw computing power to be able to build these systems. The core elements that go into that are data, energy, chips, but the most important element is talent. And this place is just producing talent. So it's incredible what you are contributing to the country, to Pennsylvania, to our company, certainly. And then Governor, you are a force of nature. It's awesome to be up here on stage with you. When we began the conversation with the state, the governor was very clear. This is all about getting stuff done, but getting stuff done in a way that was going to be consistent with the Commonwealth, and that meant putting the common good first. That meant making tools, developing tools that would help people, and putting those tools in the hands of people to be able to scale their capabilities and skills. So sometimes when I'm on television, I sort of pretend I'm a technologist. I think the buzzers would go off in this school if I actually said that. I was a history major and a lawyer like you as well, Governor. But one of the things I do, I'm also a frustrated podcaster, as you may be able to tell already. But one of my favorite things is, with chat audio, you can have sort of your own individual podcast. And so what I often do when I'm in a new place or visiting a new place, I'll get up in the morning and go for a jog and have a conversation. And so I got into a conversation with chat this morning as I was jogging through the streets of Pittsburgh, and sort of went down this rabbit hole of, okay, tell me a little bit about Carnegie. I knew a lot. But I got the whole Carnegie story, right? Andrew Carnegie comes to this country as an immigrant, who actually works in a mill, ends up using technological innovation. I went very deep. I was going to Bessemer innovations and the length of steel pipes. But what Carnegie built here in Pittsburgh using new innovation and new technology helped put the U.S. in the position to lead in the industrial age, right? Those steel actually helped build the railroad tracks that went across the country. They helped build the skyscrapers that made, that you can see in cities all across the U.S. even to this moment. They helped build the Navy ships that help protect our country. And there's a pretty through line from Pittsburgh to the arsenal of democracy to the 20th century being the American century. And then you sort of flash forward to today, right? Carnegie took some of that wealth, put it into public libraries for people to go get access to information, to have the freedom to learn, have the freedom to think. I think CMU is a product of some of those contributions. And now we're sitting here, at the front end of what we think of as the age of intelligence, with CMU, with Pittsburgh, and with the state of Pennsylvania, once again being at the center of that, a hub for this. And when we think about AI, everyone has their own analogy. And again, as the history guy, I tend to think of it as something that maybe is akin to electricity. It's going to change how we live, how we work, how we engage with one another. Sam Altman, who the governor I know is in regular contact with, describes this, as I said, as the age of intelligence, where we're going to be able to put capabilities in the hands of humans to solve hard problems that maybe a decade ago would have seemed like a miracle in the sciences, in healthcare, in education, in government services. But the story of America, that story of Carnegie, the story that took place here, is always about, can we use these innovations to scale capabilities, but do those capabilities result in progress and productivity that everyone gets to participate in, right? When we do this at our best, we are scaling freedoms. The freedom in AI is, I think, the sum of many freedoms. The ability to learn, the ability to think, the ability to produce, the ability to create. But that's ultimately about doing that for people and for humans. And what is amazing about this pilot program that various folks have talked about is that this is the first in the nation, a number of folks made this point, where you have a state really giving thought to how you can actually do that, how you can bring it into state government so state government workers can do more. I mean, the fact that you're saying, I was doing the math in my head, you were quicker on the math than I was, but if that's about 8 hours a week or 30 hours a month, and folks like Kayleen and Harrison are able to then use their creative talents to do even more, that's an example of how that productivity actually translates to the public benefit. And so we're really excited to have learned from this. We wouldn't be able to be here today having this conversation if the state, if CMU, if the state workers, if the governor had not really insisted and made sure that we were focused on building tools for people. We're really excited to see where this goes as you guys build it and develop it. I'll just finally end. There was another president back in the late mid-30s to early through the 40s, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And at that point, when he was elected in 1932, right, the country was in the throes of how it was trying to deal with the Industrial Revolution. He created a program along with Judge Brandeis, as we were talking about earlier, who's on the Supreme Court, called Laboratories of Democracy, right? And the Laboratories of Democracy was this idea that you would go to really forward-looking states and try to think of programs so that you are taking the disruptions of the industrial age and making sure that they're producing prosperity, progress, benefits that the common person would participate in. Pennsylvania is leading the way with a laboratory of democracy right now. The first in the nation, leading the nation, and doing it, again, consistent with Pennsylvania, delivering the common good for the Commonwealth and getting stuff done for everybody. So thank you very much, Governor. I'd like to welcome everyone back up, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. As we welcome the speakers back, I want to invite our elected leaders to join us. Mr. Secretary, you join us as well for a photo. And Chris, if you don't mind, I want to go for a jog with you next time you're in Pittsburgh. I want to learn about something, so we'll plug in
I
and
think
learn.
you'll be even better than Chap, I'm sure.
Good, good. All right. Everybody good?